Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to JJJapan, a podcast about Japan, Japanese culture, and much more. And today, I'm talking a little bit about Zen, and particularly Japanese Zen. Why? Because recently, I took part in an online seminar run by the magazine TheKyoto, a really good magazine. Was mostly a website, which gives images from Kyoto. What is the life like in Kyoto? And it's not too writing heavy, so even if you don't understand Japanese, you could probably enjoy this magazine online. And I've recently done a really good story on David Bowie's trip to Kyoto. But enough. Back to the lecture. So the lecture was an online meditation session. Ooh, it sounds all guru-esque. And it pretty much was. There's a bunch of people gather around online, and we have a monk. Yes, one of the head monks from one of the temples in Kyoto was giving us meditation advice. We went down, we did a meditation session together, and after that meditation session, he gave me some insights into what is Zen, and how can you apply Zen to your everyday life to make your life better. And in this episode, I want to talk about that. I've recently done a blog post on this on my Facebook page, which you can read as well to accompany this podcast. So enjoy. So the first part of this lecture was basically just meditation. A meditation practice with the head monk. So you'll sit down, he told us all about how to sit properly, how to do the lotus. I still cannot do the lotus at all when you do meditation. But it was more of just relax. Just find a relaxing place and sit down wherever you're comfortable. And one thing I noticed was, normally when I do meditation before, I'm always very strict and upright, and the monk was like, no, it's okay, just it's okay to shake. Just go with the flow. So he was a very chill kind of monk, which is pretty cool. Another part what got me was not all about always being calm. Normally you sit down and you're just going to go on your forts. But one of the techniques he taught us in this lecture was actually pay more attention to your hands. So rub your hands together really fast, and then pay attention to that, and then see how it changes. And then just rub your hands on your body while you meditate, and just focus on that, the sensations. Not just breathing sensations, but try other things. You're not just your mind, you are your body as well. And if you can just focus on more than your thoughts, your breath, you get a better experience from meditation. So after the meditation lecture, he explained, 3 important words to Zen. And I think these words are extremely important to mindfulness thinking. Everyone nowadays want to be more mindful, but they don't know how. If you use these 3 words in your everyday life, it could help you be much more mindful and maybe live a much nicer, calmful, gentler, and most importantly in Zen, peaceful life. Because he did mention peaceful a lot. Teinesa. これが大事. So what are these 3 words? 貴族, ほどく, 整える. To build, to unwind, and to sort. You may just wonder, it's really simple, they're all just verbs. And yes, from the simplicity, it comes its beauty. And the first one we're going to talk about is to build. So to build, kizoku, in Zen, it's to create beauty in surroundings. It's not just to create beauty in surroundings, it's to create the beauty in your mind, that your surroundings are beautiful, whatever situation you're in. Not just collecting really pretty things, expensive furniture, lovely flowers, but noticing the little things, the little things in everyday life, the change of the seasons. It's raining today, but the raindrops, all that noise is kind of nice, and enjoying that moment. It's more just being aware of your surroundings, even though maybe in your current life you're in a bad situation, there is beauty all around you. And even if you're in this bad situation, you're normally just focused on yourself. You're not noticing what's around, or well, the Utica, there's plenty of pretty things around, even though you say you live in a city, it's all concrete. Well, there could be a pretty shop, there could be a pretty girl, there could be a cute dog. Well, no, there's most likely going to be a cute dog. Like, they're everywhere. But just for noticing these things in your mind and being aware, you build a more beautiful, zen-like environment in your head. That's the first one, to build. The second one, hodoku, to unwind, to unravel. Well, this sort of represents like you setting out all your problems. You want to reflect on your life. What actually needs to get done, like today? Like, how you can reflect on this. It's sort of the way of reflecting, the way of unwinding. For example, what I thought linked to this really well, and that example, like most people do, is when you say you make a miss at work, something fails in life. Most often you find people, well, trying to blame someone else. You see this all the time in the news, your friends, in politics. Someone screws up and it's someone else's fault. That's the first thing, before finding fault in yourself. And the reason, well, in your head, you find it and you put it on someone else. Myself, I'm guilty of this, and I will say that now. But this sort of mindset, well, it's not good. Not for the other people, and especially yourself. Like, that can be quite painful on yourself. You get wrong, and then it leads to horrible conflicts, and you can't, well, unwind the problem. You can't unwind it. You can't see what actually really went wrong. And if you can't see what really went wrong, you cannot solve the problem. So how do you do this in Zen to unwind? Well, instead of looking at other people's faults, you want to get a peace of mind and look at it sort of clearly without blame to others and just politely, as kindly as possible to yourself. Just figure out what went wrong. Don't blame anyone. Anything. Just try and think kindly about the problem. Kindly, let's put really politely. Even that means just using nice words in your head, like not saying like, oh, I was a stupid idiot for doing that. It was like, oh, I didn't do that very nicely. Like little things like that. That was not a very nice way of handling the situation. Next time I'll do a much better job. This sort of unwinding sort of way makes it, well, nicer. It gets rid of the stress. Like when you fail on something, you make a miss, it's painful. And that's why humans will blame others. But if you take away the stress, you apply kindness to it. Even when it's in words, to your thoughts, to others, you'll be able to easily see what actually went wrong. And when you can easily see what went wrong, well, we get to the next word, totonoeru, to sort. You'll be able to easier sort it all out. Well, to sort is an interesting one, because to sort, well, this kind of does mean action. Well, if you get a lot of these gurus, you do meditation, you just change your mind. We just change your mindset and do not change your action. It basically has no meaning. If you do meditation, but you do not apply mindfulness throughout the rest of the day, it has no meaning. Some of you may argue otherwise, but I personally think that if you're sitting in your arse all day, meditating, but you're not really applying it, you're not spending time in the day at all, while you're sitting down and meditating all day. If you cannot apply these sort of thought patterns, these sort of calming procedures you learn through meditation in your everyday life, well, the skills you learn from meditation cannot help to sort out your problems in your life, because you're not applying them to them. And if you apply the other two words, to build, you build a very peaceful, a nice mindset in your mind, and then you can unwind with very kind words. When you want to sort out your problems, you should be able to see more clearly now. Why? Because there's not really much more pain attached to these problems. You can see them more of a peace of mind, not really peace, but a kindness in mind. That's what a word the monk said over and over and over again in Japanese, tenesa. That's the degree of politeness. In the Japanese, well, it's very high. For these sort of Zen ways of thinking as well, they're fundamental for Japanese culture, even if they don't study their Zen directly or not. So we're going to end this there on today's episode of JJJapan, where I told you a little bit about, well, summarized my experience from a Buddhist meditation lecture. And I talked about 3 more words of Zen. Kizoku, to build. Hodoku, to unwind. Totonoeru, to sort. And I hope these words may help you in your everyday life. And I do recommend you check out again TheKyoto if you're interested in anything about Kyoto Zen, Kyoto life, imagery. It's mostly just images. Like, I have been looking through this today, and well, their website is lovely. So, we're going to end there. As always, thanks for listening. 最後まで来てくれて本当にありがとうございました。じゃあね。